obviously the latest vehicle, the Model 3 Performance, or really the Model 3 Highland has been out, the Cybertruck came out. When you think of just obviously even the future of transportation, and obviously that's obviously where Franz comes in play with the design, but how does, when you think of unsupervised FSD, how does that change the way you even approach tackling or building something, like the future of transportation? And again, I know I don't have to throw the design aspect into it, but just when you think of what is next, how does the future of transportation impact that?
Well, if you're not driving, you're really effectively sitting in like a tiny lounge. And then, so, having, say, being entertained with being able to watch movies or play video games or work, it's really, the car just becomes like a tiny mobile lounge. That's or you can sleep, whatever you want to do. You could drink too. So it's just think of it like it's like a little mobile lounge. It's not something that you have to be really, focus your attention on driving all the time. So it's a totally different experience. One cool thing I should mention is that would be, I think, interesting down the road is also for optimists, for people that have lost their limbs, that if you take Neuralink, basically be able to control, which the Neuralink version 1 telepathy allows you to control electronic devices. If somebody's lost their arms or legs or whatever the case may be, then taking, say, an Optimus arm or leg and attaching that and enabling, combining that with a Neuralink would give them essentially cybernetic limbs. Kind of like Luke Skywalker and the robot hand. So I think that could be pretty incredible for people that have lost limbs, being able to have like a cybernetic limb. But anyway, I think that would be a cool sort of combined effort between Neuralink and Tesla.
Elon, there's some recent news on X about some candy announcements or something like that.
No, I don't know what that is. I'm just doing candy stuff. So, yeah, I have too much on my plate to add candy to it.
So fake news.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's wild how much is happening in the world. I mean, there's stuff happening with SpaceX and Tesla and all the advancements in AI. A lot of advancements in pharma as well. There's a lot of interesting, like, kind of miracle drugs coming along. We're certainly headed for, I think, the most interesting future. I think we live in the most interesting of times. Sometimes it's like easy to sort of like, I don't know, get down about like some day-to-day event or political stuff or whatever, but in the grand scheme of things, we are living in the most interesting time in history. And that's pretty cool.
It's so easy to, I honestly don't know how you do it on a minute by hourly basis on things that are just lies and things that are being said. But it's so important to have, a positive mindset, especially as those attacks are coming, because if you're just depressed about everything that's just coming at you, it's just so hard to move forward. And so it takes people like you who are actually being a part of that change rather than just watching it from the sidelines. And so thank you for that. One thing I'll ask, and then I'll maybe pass it to Kelvin for one last question. So we have a lot of retail investors here, as we know. It's actually, I just want to say how amazing X is and how some of the stuff has even worked in the background. I remember meeting Amy Steffens, who was behind, obviously, who her team that she worked with to kind of like build a lawsuit, obviously, on the comp plan. I met her on an X Spaces, Twitter Spaces, and we got connected, and she ended up on our podcast, and next thing I know, she connects with Alexandra Mertz, Tesla Bruno Mama, and seeing all of the work that's happening behind the scenes with what Amy was doing, and then what Alexandra was doing on the front facing. But the question I wanted to have is, when you think of retail investors and what it's meant to Tesla, what comes to mind, especially again, all the work that, the community has done, Alexandra, the Amy's of the world, the Tesla community, but what comes to mind when you think of retail investors for Tesla?
Well, I love retail investors, I have to say. Because I think retail investors, or individual investors, are they're like making a decision to support the company, and that's super appreciated. I think we have the highest retail investor percentage of maybe any company, or maybe certainly one of the highest, and I think that's really a good thing. There's going to be sort of ups and downs in the stock price for random reasons, but I do feel confident that the long-term value of the company will be extremely high. I think the best analysis I've seen is like Kathy Wood's company, ARK Invest. They've been the most accurate in the past, and it's the value of the company is going to be kind of nutty with unsupervised full self-driving and with Optimus. I sort of wonder ultimately what money will even mean in the future, because if you've got robots that if the cost of goods and services are driven to almost nothing, I think we will, assuming it's a positive future, which I think probably will be, then we're headed for an age of abundance. I do feel like maybe that Tesla's kind of in a phase right now, like similar to what Nvidia was in before Nvidia stock went bananas. And I have to say, Nvidia deserves the valuation they've got. Jensen and his team have done an amazing job. But it really goes to show the value of any kind of AI. A company that is strong in AI it's just going to be crazy, and it will dwarf the value of companies that do not have advanced AI. It really will be profoundly different. It's a simple sort of productivity, kind of back of the envelope math for cars is that, typical passenger car is about 10 hours of use a week. It's called like an hour and a half a day for 7 days, so it's about 10 hours. But if it's autonomous, it could be used 100 hours a week. Now, I'm not sure what the average usage would be, but average usage in autonomous mode might be 50 hours, but certainly it could be used 100 hours out of 168 hours a week. So that would be a 10x increase in the productivity of the car, but it costs the same. So if you just do the basic math on that, it's like, okay, now you go from 25% margins to 90% margins. It's insane. And then for cars that are owned by customers, then we'd obviously revenue share with the customers, and so the owners of the cars, I think would earn quite a bit more than the lease cost or financing cost of the car when it's in autonomous mode. But if you just think of asset utilization efficiency, and you go from 10 hours a week of a car to 50 or 100 hours a week, and it's the same car, that's just it's the biggest explosion in value maybe ever.
So I have a quick follow-up, but again, let us know we can do a time check. But you kind of were just talking about just content, and like one question I actually had, it was a follow-up kind of a little bit to what you were mentioning and some off topic, but do you see it, do you foresee a rise in mechanisms to determine the authenticity of content and the validity of what is being said? Like, I think that's in this future, right? I mean, I see half the time I feel like I turn up YouTube and, you know, they're taking an interview from you and then you're randomly mentioning Bitcoin and, or I've seen interviews of us, like people are messaging us from our interview back in May of 2022 and they're live streaming it like it's happening live. I'm like, wow, I, you know, look different 2 years ago with long hair. It's like, but it's you talking and you're randomly, you know, the Bitcoin, you know, reel is going on the bottom. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to be promoting crypto. So if you know, at most in a joking way, but if you see me pumping crypto, it's not me. You know, so I mean, I do think there's some merit in, you know, Bitcoin and maybe some of the other crypto, and I sort of have a soft spot for Dogecoin because I just like dogs and memes. Yeah, I don't know. On the X platform, there's, you know, pretty quickly things get community noted, or there's in the replies people say, "Hey, this is not real." So I think, you know, I don't know, we can work to try to have community notes surface faster, and also to if similar videos are popping up, that the community note gets appended to any kind of similar video. But I think it's definitely always, one should be cautious about seeing any. If you see a sales pitch for crypto, I would double check whether that is real.
All right, Elon. We want to wrap up with a final question for you, which is, what are you most excited about regarding Tesla and SpaceX?
Well, I think I've basically described it already, but the key for SpaceX is to achieve full and rapid reusability of the Starship rocket. This is really the holy grail of space technology. No one has ever made a fully reusable orbital rocket. So Starship is the first design that is even capable of that. This is an absolutely profound thing, because a fully reusable, rapidly reusable rocket is the difference between humanity being a single planet civilization and a multi-planet civilization. So that's gigantic, and I think we might get there next year. So that's I mean, yeah, I mean, you don't count the chickens until they're hatched. These are tough chickens, but I think it's going to happen next year, and then a general solution to self-driving. That is also an incredibly profound thing, and that's unsupervised full self-driving. That looks like if it doesn't happen later this year, it seems extremely likely to happen next year. If you just plot the points in the curve of miles between interventions, that number is improving dramatically. So those are really the two whopper things. And then, as I mentioned, for Tesla, also Optimus. The Optimus numbers are like, they're like so mind-blowing that you're like, is this real? Because I actually think the market for humanoid robots is in excess of 10 billion units, like more than the number of humans. Because people will each want one, and then there'll be others that are involved in industry and stuff. So, you know, if they do sell even at volume for $20,000, that's 20 trillion. So it's like, I mean, this is bananas numbers, you know. I should say something. Anyway, it's just insane numbers.
So we should hold on to your stock.
Yeah, right. It's just really nuts. I should say $200 trillion. This is just an insane number. Yeah, $20,000 times 10 billion. So, 20 trillion, 200 trillion. It's a lot. It's like crazy numbers. So, that's why I wonder what does money even mean at that point, you know? So, these things are, like I said, they're so profound that they will be recognized, assuming we do them, if we have to actually do them, they will be recognized 100 years from now, maybe 1,000 years from now, as fundamental milestones in civilization. That's the level of significance we're talking about here. Woo!
If we can, we would love to just get a virtual/in-person. Oh well, I think we literally have a standing ovation happening right now. Yeah, it's crazy. I feel like I can now say Elon actually danced when you talked about the cat at the XTakeover. So. But yeah, thank you again, Elon, Kelvin and I, on behalf of our organization. Thank you for being at the XTakeover, for giving us literally about an hour of your time and more. Thank you for the support of our community, retail investors, and we appreciate all that you're doing for humanity and actually picking up the shovel and doing it. Thanks a lot.